50 degrees Celsius in Europe. That's hotter than Death Valley on its worst day, hotter than the Sahara Desert in July. At 50 degrees, asphalt melts. Train tracks buckle and bend. Planes cannot take off, and the human body starts to shut down within minutes. This has never happened in Europe. The current record is 48.8 degrees, set in Sicily in 2021. Scientists say 50 degrees in Europe is now a matter of when, not if. So what actually happens when Europe hits 50 degrees? Let's go through it, category by category. The human body can only survive in a narrow temperature range. Your core temperature needs to stay around 37 degrees. When it goes above 40, organs begin to fail. At 50 degrees outside, your body cannot cool itself through sweating. Because the air itself is hotter than your skin. Heat can only flow from hot to cold, so your body absorbs heat from the air. Without shade or water, heat stroke sets in within 10 to 15 minutes. Even the elderly sitting indoors without air conditioning are at risk. Most European homes do not have air conditioning. Only 10% of European homes have it, compared to 90% in the United States. At 50 degrees, hospitals would be overwhelmed within hours. Thousands of deaths in the first 24 hours alone. And outdoor work, construction, farming, delivery would become impossible. No one could safely be outside for more than a few minutes. Now let's look at what 50 degrees does to infrastructure. Roads. Asphalt begins to soften at 48 degrees and melt above 60. At 50 degrees, vehicles leave ruts in the road surface. Railways. Steel rails expand in heat and can buckle at temperatures above 40 degrees. At 50 degrees, rail services across Europe would be suspended entirely. Aviation. Hot air is less dense. Planes need longer runways to generate the same lift. Above 50 degrees, some aircraft models cannot take off at all. Power grids. Every air conditioner in Europe running simultaneously would overload the grid. Widespread blackouts would begin. And without power, air conditioning stops. Refrigerators stop. Hospitals lose power. The blackout makes the heat wave deadlier. The heat wave causes the blackout, a deadly loop. Water supply would also be threatened. Reservoirs would evaporate faster than they can be refilled. Now, the natural world. Most crops in Europe die above 35 degrees. At 50 degrees, every crop in the field is destroyed within days. Wheat, corn, vegetables, fruit, all gone. Food prices would spike across the continent. Rivers. Europe's major rivers, the Rhine, the Loire, the Po, have already been running dry in recent summers. At 50 degrees, evaporation accelerates dramatically. No rivers means no hydroelectric power, and no cooling water for nuclear power plants. France gets 70% of its electricity from nuclear plants. If those shut down, France loses most of its power. Wildfires. At 50 degrees, dry vegetation ignites almost spontaneously. Fires would spread faster than any firefighting force could contain. Entire forests gone in hours. The sea. Mediterranean sea surface temperatures would push above 32 degrees, turning it into a bath rather than a refuge. Beyond the physical, what happens to society? Mass evacuation. Governments would be forced to move millions of people to cooler regions. Schools closed, offices closed, shops closed. The economy stops completely. Supply chains break. Food deliveries stop. Emergency cooling centers would be opened in stadiums and underground stations, but there would not be enough of them. The most vulnerable would have nowhere to go. Scientists estimate a single 50-degree day in Europe could kill tens of thousands of people. A week at 50 degrees? The death toll is almost unimaginable. So how close is this to actually happening? The current European record is 48.8 degrees Celsius, Sicily, August 2026. That record was itself a shock. It exceeded the previous record by nearly a full degree. Records are no longer being broken by fractions. They are being shattered. Europe warmed twice as fast as the global average over the last 30 years. At current rates, some models project 50 degrees is possible in parts of Spain and Portugal by 2050. 2050 is not the distant future. Children born today will be in their 20s when this could happen. And it is not just southern Europe. Paris could see 50-degree temperatures by 2060 under high-emission scenarios. London, Amsterdam, Berlin, all of them in range within this century. This is not a disaster movie. This is a trajectory. But it is not inevitable. Every fraction of a degree of warming we prevent matters. Cities are already building cooling infrastructure, urban trees, white rooftops, underground shelters. But adaptation alone is not enough. The only way to prevent 50 degrees in Europe is to stop the warming that makes it possible. 50 degrees in Europe is not science fiction. It is a scientifically projected outcome of our current path. Understanding it is the first step. Subscribe for more science breakdowns like this. New video every week. See you in the next one.